Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. In yesterday's class, we were discussing about electrostatic potential and electrostatic potential difference. Yesterday, we were discussing about two definitions. Electrostatic potential difference is defined as the amount of work done by an external force to bring a unit positive charge between, that is, from one position to another. That is, whenever we talk about electric potential difference, it is between 2 points. And also we were discussing about electric potential, which is defined as the amount of work done by an external force to bring a unit positive charge from infinity to that point. So these topics we were discussing yesterday, and the unit for these two, that is electric potential difference and electric potential, the unit is volt. And we were discussing about electrostatic potential due to a point charge whose equation was found to be V is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R. Hope you went through all these concepts. Today we are going to continue with electrostatic potential due to an electric dipole. Now hope you remember what is an electric dipole. Electric dipole is a system of equal and opposite charges separated by a distance. Okay, so I'm going to take a dipole today and I'm going to find out what is the electric potential at a point of a dipole. So let us move on to the concept. Now this is the diagram which gives the equation for the electric potential due to an electric dipole. Now look at this diagram carefully, children. I'm going to explain you the diagram. There are two charges that are kept at A and B. Now this is a dipole. One is minus Q, the other one is plus Q, and the distance of separation between these dipole is 2A, and O is the midpoint of the dipole. So the distance between OA is A and OB is A. I am going to consider a point P. See here, this is a point P which is located at a distance of R. Now this is R. Now this point P is at a distance of R from the midpoint of the dipole, and theta be the angle between, here theta represents the angle between OP and the dipole axis AB. Right, this is the dipole axis. Theta makes an angle between this line OP and the axis of the dipole. So if this is going to be theta, this is 180 minus theta. Is it clear, children? The diagram is clear. Now I am going to determine the electric potential at point P. Now I am going to determine what is the electric potential at point P due to this dipole. So it is a very important derivation part, children. I am going to derive the equation fully. I want you to follow each and every step and work out the derivation today itself and be thorough with what it is. Okay, ma? So let us start with the derivation. Now let R1 be the distance of point P from plus Q of the dipole, and R2 be the distance of the point P from minus Q. Okay, so I am going to find out the potential at point P due to plus Q and potential at point P due to minus Q. So to start with, let me start with potential at P. I will start writing here, children. Potential at P due to plus Q is V1, is V1, which can be written as, so yesterday we have discussed the potential formula due to a point charge, which is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R, right? So with respect to this plus Q, let me take the potential as V1, because I'm going to take for minus Q also, which will be V2. So potential at P due to plus Q is taken as V1. Let me write let me write here, it is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R1. So the distance between plus Q and P is R1. Similarly, I'm going to write potential at P due to minus Q. It is taken as V2, which is equal to Q by, so here it should be minus, children, mu 4 pi epsilon naught R2. So these are the two equations. Now individually I'll find out the value of V1 and V2 and then combine. So what will be the total potential? So the total potential V is equal to V1 plus V2, which is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught is the common term between V1 and V2. So I will take the common term out. You will have, you will have 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. So this is the equation for the total potential. Okay, ma? Now I am going to derive the value for 1 by R1 and 1 by R2. Okay, so before going on deriving into what is 1 by R1, 1 by R2, once again let us go back to the diagram. I hope you would have read about cosine law. So cosine formula for a triangle. Let me draw a triangle here. The sides of the triangle are A, B, C. It makes an angle theta. So the cosine formula for this is, I will write here, it is just with this formula we are going to get the value of 1 by R1. So I will just write this formula. We are going to use this formula here. So cosine formula here is A square equal to B square plus C square minus 2BC. So this formula I'm going to use with respect to this diagram, minus 2BC cos theta. Okay, ma? So now come back to this triangle to find out the value of R1. So I'm going to apply cosine law to this triangle. So this side is R1. A is replaced by R1, B is replaced by R, and C is replaced by A. Okay, so I'm going to write cosine formula with respect to this triangle. So let me write for this triangle, I will write here, children, R1 square equal to R square plus A square minus 2RA cos theta. Okay, ma? Now I will multiply and divide each term by R square on the right hand side. Okay, so when I multiply and divide by R square and take R square common, so you have inside 1 plus A square by R square minus 2A cos theta by R. You understood how I got this? Now when I multiply and divide this term by r square, here the first term I will have r square into r square by r square. The second term I have a square into r square by r square. The third term I have 2ra cos theta into r square by r square. So when I take r square out, this term will become 1, and here it will be a square by r square, because numerator r square we have taken it out, and here 2ra cos theta divided by r square is there, no? So 1 r gets cancelled here. So 1 r gets cancelled here. So I have 2a cos theta by r. Hope you understood this. Now I am going to consider, once again come back to this diagram. Now when the distance r, in the sense the distance between the point and the midpoint of the dipole, that is when r is very much greater than a, then the term a square by r square can be neglected. So when I write the equation, I have r1 square equal to r square into 1 minus 2a cos theta by r. So neglecting the higher terms, so I will have the equation as 1 minus 2a cos theta by r. I am going to continue the derivation in the next page, children. So r1 will be, so r1 will, sorry, I will just write this equation once again here. r1 square, so from here I will write what is r1. r1 will be r into 1 minus 2a cos theta by r, the whole power half. Okay ma? So I'll take this equation again here. So it is r1 equal to r into 1 minus 2a cos theta by r, the whole power half. But I want the value of 1 by r1. So here I will write 1 by r into 1 minus 2a cos theta by r to the power minus half. Okay, because it is 1 by r1. Now I am going to use binomial theorem. Using binomial theorem, what is the binomial theorem I am using here is 1 minus x the whole power minus n. I will take only the first term, neglecting all the higher terms. I will take only the first term, 1 plus nx. So 1 plus nx, in the sense here it is 1 plus, now n will be half into x will be minus 2a by r in this equation. As far as this equation is concerned, this is 1 and this term is considered to be x and this term is considered to be n. So when I simplify, I will get this, and here also 2 gets cancelled over here. 2 gets cancelled and minus gets cancelled. So I will have 1 plus a by r, right? So when I substitute a by r cos theta, you will have. So I will write 1 by r1 equal to 1 by r into 1 plus a by r cos theta. This is the value of 1 by r1. Is it clear? So this is the first part. I have determined the value of 1 by r1. Now let us move on to the same methodology which you go for this triangle. So similarly, once again I will start applying cosine law. So applying cosine law, I will have once again a square equal to b square plus c square minus 2bc cos, here instead of theta I will have 180 minus theta. So if substitute b square r square also, here it will be once again r square plus a square minus 2ra cos 180 degree minus theta. Now minus cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta. So I have here r square plus a square plus 2ra cos theta. Okay. Now I will do the steps here, some of the steps here, so that you can understand better. Then we'll go to the next page. Okay. So now again you will have the substitution, where the substitution goes. Now I have r2 square equal to r2 square equal to, again I have 1 plus a square by r square plus 2ar cos theta by r. The same step what I did. Okay. Now here again neglecting a square by r square, I have r2 to be 1 plus 2a cos theta. I will not have this r term in the numerator. This will not be there. So it is 2a cos theta by r. Okay, which is r2 square. Go to the next page. Let us go to the next page. So r2 will be r into 1 plus 2a cos theta by r, 1 by, to the whole power half. So 1 by r2 will be 1 by r, again 1 plus 2a cos theta by r to the whole power minus half. Now again apply binomial theorem, but here this time it is 1 plus x the whole power minus n, with the first term 1 minus nx. So I have here 1 by r2 to be 1 by r. After simplification I have 1 minus a by r cos theta. So this is the value of 1 by r2. I want you to take your book, follow the derivation step. If you are not able to understand, watch this video again, follow the steps, and today itself you should be very thorough with this derivation. It's a very lengthy derivation. So each and every step I am doing. So try to follow. Now two formulas I am using. One is cosine formula, the other one is binomial theorem. So based on this I am solving. Now we'll go to the total potential, where I have to substitute V is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. So substitute Q by 4 pi epsilon naught. Now what is 1 by R1? 1 by R1 is 1 by R into 1 plus a by r cos theta minus 1 by r2 is 1 by r into 1 minus a by r cos theta. Okay. Now again simplification, q by 4 pi epsilon naught, I will take 1 by r, and here also a by r is there, a by r is there. So when I take that r outside, I will have r square, right? Or let me show this, 1 plus, let me write it as r square here. So it is 1 by 1 plus a cos theta minus 1 plus a cos theta. So what is happening here? 1 and 1 gets cancelled. So I have the equation to be q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. It is numerator, you have a cos theta plus a cos theta, which is 2 a cos theta. I'll write this formula once again. Here. So B is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught 2a cos theta by r square. So this is the equation for the potential. Okay. So it's a very big derivation. See here, look at the derivation, how lengthy it is. Try to understand at least one time. If you write, definitely you will not understand. Minimum at least 2 or 3 times you have to practice this diagram. Okay. Now I'm going to discuss, this is the total potential. This is the total potential due to an electric dipole, and the potential at point P. At this point, the potential will be q by 4 pi epsilon naught 2a cos theta r square due to the electric dipole. Now I am going to discuss 3 special cases here. So what is the special case? The first special case is, I am going to consider this point P in 3 points, 3 different points. The first one is, imagine this point to be here. That is, the point P is near plus Q, and this point P is along the axial line. So case 1, the point lies along the axial line and also near plus Q. So in that case, what will be the value of theta, children? So case 1 will be if theta is going to be 0. So if theta is going to be 0, what will be the potential, children? Cos 0 you substitute, cos 0 is 1. So you have q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2a by r square. So what is q2a? I can also write q2a as P, dipole moment, P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, right? This is the first case. Now second case, I am going to consider the point P to be near this negative charge. So suppose consider this point here. In that case, if this P is going to be here, what will be the value of theta, children? The value of theta will be 180 degree, right? In that case, now this is special case 1. Now special case 2. Now let me draw a line so that you will not get confused. So case 2 is theta going to be 180. Then what will be the potential? V is equal to minus P by, because cos 180 is minus 1. So it is 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Okay. Third case, if theta is going to be 90 degree. So if theta is going to be 90 degree, what will be the value of potential? Potential is going to be 0. So these are the 3 cases. First one, if the point P is going to be along the axial line near plus q, then the value of v is p by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. If the point P is along this minus Q, then theta will be 180 degree. The potential will be minus P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. If theta is going to be 90 degree, so what will be cos 90? Cos 90 will be 0 and V will be 0, which means the electric potential will be 0 when the value of angle is 90 degree, that is the point P is at right angle to the midpoint of the dipole, then in that case the potential is going to be 0. Clear? Now in this equation also I can write here, children, I wrote the equation V is equal to 2 qa cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, which can also be written as V is equal to, this can also be written as V is equal to P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, because it is 2aq which is P. Okay, so both are same. Is it clear, children? So it is P cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Now I am going to discuss 2 points here. What are the 2 important points as far as this equation is concerned? Now in the equation V is equal to 2p cos theta, sorry, not 2p, it is p cos theta. It is p cos theta by, or let me strike this and write V is equal to p cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Now in this, the potential varies. Now here we have already come across potential due to a point charge. What is potential due to a point charge? Potential due to a point charge is q by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Now if it is going to be a point charge, it has the dependence of r, that is r and v are inversely proportional. Okay, so this is due to a single point charge, whereas here it is due to a dipole. Dipole in the sense which involves 2 charges, you have 1 by r square. So when you compare the potential due to a dipole with the potential due to a point charge, we can see that as the distance increases, the potential falls faster. Now it falls faster than the unit charge when compared to the dipole. So as the distance increases from the dipole, the effects of positive and negative charges, they nullify each other, and the potential due to the electric dipole falls as 1 by r square with respect to the potential due to a unit charge. Okay, this is the first point. And the second point, you see this diagram, children. Actually, whenever we talk about a potential due to a point charge, it is spherically symmetric because it depends on the distance. But the potential due to a dipole is not spherically symmetric because it depends on the angle. It depends on the angle between p vector and the position vector, right? But the potential is axially symmetric. Look at this diagram here. If the position vector r is rotated about p, then all the points on the cone, look at the cone, there is a blue line here. Now all the points that are lying on the cone, the position vector is the same and they will have the same potential. So in this case, we can say that the electric dipole is axially symmetric. Usually it will not be that. It will not be like that. But in the case of a dipole, we can say that it is axially symmetric because all the points, due to the position vector being the same, all the points are at the same potential. So this can be axially symmetric. Okay ma? So go through this derivation, work out this, and tomorrow I'll be asking you some very small questions based on this topic. Minimum at least 2 or 3 times you have to write this derivation. Okay ma? So it's a homework for you, work out this derivation. Tomorrow we'll meet with the next topic. Thank you children.